Good afternoon and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin, Master Certified Life Coach and Weight Loss Coach.
And I'm Sandra Priestley. I'm a leadership coach and feng shui practitioner. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Well, I can't wait to chat with you today. Today I am drinking, well, it's a little bit earlier than we normally do our podcast. So,
Yes.
I chose coffee and Kahlua.
There you go.
So, yeah, what are you drinking today?
Well, I'm drinking a little Catch Fire because I
Oh,
haven't had whiskey all weekend. Like, I don't know how. We were at the lake with my son who loves his whiskey, and I never really had an opportunity to be a badass with him and drink some. So happy birthday, Logan and Paul.
cheers. Yeah.
Cheers. My boys
And
had birthdays this weekend. Do what?
cheers. And also, it's not just the whiskey that's badass, or you drinking it because, are you drinking it and being badass? It is your new haircut.
Oh, thank you. I feel liberated. I just chopped it off.
I love it.
Yeah. It was long. I think I had been growing it out since I was 40.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I mean, of course, at some point it just kind of stops growing, but I just would trim it. I never cut it.
Yeah.
And, I've had that COVID hair loss, and I'm sure the menopausal hair loss and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it just, would look at it and go, it's too much. It needs to go. It's too, thin on the ends. And
Yeah.
so I went in last week and said, hey, it's time. Cut it.
I
She's
love
like, are
it.
you sure? And I said, yeah. So she pulls it back in a ponytail before she colors it and whacks it. She goes, okay, can't
Oh,
back out now.
how how many inches did she take off? Did you look?
I want to say 4.
Oh, so
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
So,
And I don't know if I said this before, but I have a friend, Carla, who she has short hair though. So she gets her hair cut all the time, more religiously than me. Like I don't like appointments. So I will like grow my hair out and then 6 months later I'm like, oh, my hair is really long and awful. And I just notice it one day and then I get it cut. But she always says that she's cutting her troubles off.
mm,
And it's just like this, I don't know, like this, well, my coach would call it a demarcation, but it's like this moment where I think it has so much power for her, like, and she just feels so good. It's just like cuts her hair,
yeah.
it feels fresh, it feels new, and she just cuts her troubles off.
Oh, I
And
love
so
that.
every single time I get my hair cut, I think, oh, I'm gonna cut my troubles off today. And I
Oh,
don't even have big troubles,
right.
but it
Get rid
still
of them
feels good.
before they start. And I get my hair cut every 6 to 8 weeks because I have to color all the grays. So, but it's always just a trim. So this definitely felt different. But what struck me was how I'm letting things go, clearing out shit I don't need,
Ooh.
and it's no longer serving me. And I thought, I guess this is part of that process.
Yeah, your hair no longer serving you, the long, long hair, and
Yeah.
cutting out the things that you don't need, the
Mhm.
stray hairs and the thin on the bottom.
Yes.
I love it. So tell me about your weekend. I can't wait to tell you about mine.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, we went camping this weekend.
Okay.
It was Paul and Logan's birthday. So the guys went up first, had their guys' night. Um, didn't do too much damage, didn't break anything in the camper. Paul twisted his ankle, but he's fine. Um, and then we went up on Saturday. And so we had the boys' party on Saturday. Logan ended up golfing. Paul and his friend didn't end up joining him because they went too late in the day. So the young guys went golfing, and we just played down at the water and kind of waited for them to get back before we started the dinner and all of that. But, we had one hiccup in the weekend that could have unraveled the whole weekend, but we all rallied together and figured
Mm.
out what was important and set some things aside and focused on the boys. So, yeah, just a nice weekend with the grandbabies.
It's so easy for things to go like sideways, right? My friend would say kitty wampus. Have you ever
Yeah.
heard that
Yeah.
term? Like it's
Cattywampus
like
is what we say.
cattywampus. But it's so easy. Like one tiny thing or a large thing can just throw everything into a tailspin.
Mhm.
And but it feels so powerful to me when we can recognize it as just a blip and
Yes.
really stay intentionally in the moment of making things greater
Yes.
or staying in the positive
Mhm.
instead of really like running down that rabbit hole
Right.
of doom
And
and
making it
despair and
bigger.
everything and making it
And
bigger. We're
yeah.
making it such a huge deal where if you stay in that intention of this isn't going to sideswipe us. And you know what? This happens all the time. I notice it with Cam and
Mhm.
I and money
Ah.
because this must be the lesson that we learn, but it's like all of a sudden, we'll have unexpected bills. Like just recently, we had needed to purchase a new TV. Our TV shit the bed. We needed to purchase a new washer and dryer, stacking washer and dryer for our condo. Um, for some reason, my son moves in and bam, the washer doesn't work. So we had to replace that. And there was something else that we had to replace. I don't remember what it was. And it was like, I said to Cam, man, like it seems like there's just money flying out of our bank account. And he looked at me and he was like, yeah, but I'm not worried. And this is what
Mm.
happened to us before.
Yeah.
And it is that, you know, it was like all of these sort of unexpected bills came to us before we had a huge influx of money come in.
Mhm.
And I really believe this is with mindset. I especially believe it with money. It's like when you can hold that moment of fear
Mhm.
and you can just trust that you're on the path and it's all going to be
Yeah.
okay. It's like the great things, the gifts come
Yeah.
really fast.
Yeah.
But it would be so easy for us to have gone, oh my gosh, now it's $2,000 for this and it's $1,000 for that and it's
Mhm.
$3,000 for this and what the hell and where is all this money going and this is going to be it's like it holds us in that trauma and that fear and that worry and we can't lean into the faith and
Well,
more happens, more comes. That's the vibration we've got.
yeah, but your vibration, if you were to stay there, is not enough money. And if you stay there too long, before you know it, there's not.
It's so true.
So weird
And
how it,
so
yeah.
it is like every single time that something like that happens, I truly sit in this appreciation for it because I think, oh, this is a sign of an up level coming.
Mhm.
This is exciting. What is going to happen tomorrow? Maybe I'll sign up with another amazing client, or maybe, I don't know, we'll win the lottery, or maybe like we'll get a
It's
read. I mean, crazy, crazy.
you
I
don't know how
cannot
it's gonna show up,
crazy
but you
amounts of
know
money.
it's gonna show up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like it's so cool. So I'm so like it's such a neat thing when you can recognize it too, right? In the moment
Yeah.
so often we're not intentional, but I think you and I especially, we really focus on every moment
Well,
and the intention of every moment and what we're creating.
normally I would agree with that, but I was not really in that particular place on Saturday.
Really?
And I went for a walk with my niece around the lake, and
Mhm.
we're just chatting, and I love talking to her because she totally gets me, and she can talk to me in ways that I can hear her because she kind of
Right.
speaks my language to me.
Love it.
And so we're walking around, and she's like, this is going to be a great evening. We're going to celebrate Uncle Paul and Logan. And what happened does not have to influence the way we feel tonight. And
Yeah.
everything is going to be good. And in that moment, I'm like, you're right.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
And our water had been off at the lake, at the whole park, no water.
Oh,
It had been a
gee.
couple of hours. I wasn't really concerned about it. I was like, we'll fix it. No big deal.
Mhm.
And just as I said, yes, everything is going to be okay, the little water guy comes driving by and I'm like,
Nice.
got our water back on? He goes, just turn it on. And Sarah and I looked at each other and laughed and we're like, yeah, everything's good. So,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Well,
so I just got home. I showered for you.
awesome. I was
Um,
concerned.
I know. But tell me about your week.
Okay. You being in Texas, you're going to appreciate this. I know you will.
Okay.
So, and I mean, I live in about the middle of the province of Alberta. So, you know, like it's not the desert. Let's just say that. It's not the desert. But I I drove down with a friend of mine. I drove down to like the lower like very southeastern part of the province
Mhm.
to watch my son play football. And so I went with a friend and her daughter, and they used to live in this city. And so they've been there for years. They still have family down there. And so we went down there and it was like so dry. Like there was no green. It was all like tumbleweeds and desert. That's what it looked like. It was like a whole different like place. It was so crazy. I'd never seen desert like that before in
Mhm.
Alberta. So we're driving down. We're driving down. We went out for supper the very first night, and as we're driving, um, my friend's sister says, "Oh my gosh, there's a rattlesnake." Now, I've never seen a rattlesnake before.
Mhm.
Like I've seen little garter snakes. They're like cute little
Yeah.
things. They don't bite
Yeah,
you.
they're just there to eat the rats and stuff.
They're just gonna eat the, but rattlesnakes I'd never seen. And so here's me. I say, oh, like, and I mean, it's on a road, like on a highway,
Mhm.
and I am just so excited. And I say, oh my gosh, I want a picture of a rattlesnake. And they're looking at me like, what? My friend is like, I've never seen a rattlesnake before. This is the first time I've ever seen one, but it's like squished on the highway.
Oh, it was dead.
Like it was dead.
Okay.
And I was like wanting so badly. And I just put it out to the universe. I'm like, I want to see a rattlesnake. And I was thinking to myself, would they turn around for me to take a picture of this dead rattlesnake? So the power of intentionally.
Mhm. Yep.
Here I am. And my friend says to me, okay, because she knows that I normally go for a walk every single morning.
Oh.
So she's like, let's go get you coffee and then we'll go for a walk. And we'll go for a walk by the river. And like it's a little like a paved walkway and it's super safe. And I'm like, great, okay, let's go. So we're walking through, and there's a frog that jumps at me, and I shit my pants, like, "Ah!" Okay, it's just a frog. I take a picture. It's super cute. I keep walking, and there are these like all of a sudden, the two of us are walking, and it's like the 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 ground just moves, and it's like whew, all of these grasshopper like things just fly. And it's like they're you can't see them on the ground, they just blend in, but then they turn into these like big red butterflies. Like that's what it looks like. I don't know what they are, but they're not grasshoppers, but
Wow.
like cicadas, I feel. I
Oh,
don't know.
cicadas?
Cicada? Like they look like something that we have as a fish hook. Like that's what it looked like kind of thick, and then they have these big wings.
Wow.
So then I see these fawns, like deer and two fawns, and they're like, and I'm taking pictures and I'm thinking it's like awesome. And I say to myself in my head, man, I've seen so many things. The only thing I need to see right now is a rattlesnake.
Mhm.
And then we do. Like, just
Oh, Sandra.
totally manifested it. And
Yeah.
here's the crazy thing. So my friend is like, we're walking and we're talking, and I'm like yapping away. And she kind of jumps back and she goes, whoa, there's a rattlesnake. Now she'd never seen one before either, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know. I've never seen one. Obviously, I didn't know that they were beige, but I said, I think it's dead, right? Like, because it was sunning itself, I guess. And I did
Mm.
not know, but they flatten right out, like to get more surface,
Okay.
like hot. I
Mhm.
don't know. But anyway, and she's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And my iPhone was dead.
No.
Now I had my camera, like I had my Canon
Okay.
with me because I knew my iPhone was almost dead. My iPhone was dead. Had it not been, I would have walked right up to that rattlesnake, put my hand there to take a picture real close.
Mm-mm. 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 No, ma'am.
I know. So I did walk a little bit closer to it. I was maybe 6 feet from it. I feel like those suckers move fast too.
Yes, they
Anyway,
do.
and so I used my Canon and I took a picture and I was as close as I could have gotten probably, but like I had a longer lens on. And when I went to click it, when I hit the button,
Mhm.
then all of a sudden this rattlesnake went from flat to
Mm.
like round
Yes.
and curled, and he slithered off. Now he did not shake his rattle, which was
Okay.
sad because I kind of was waiting for the rattle.
Sandra, I think if you hear the rattle, that's bad.
I don't know.
I think that they're coming for you if you hear the
Is
rattle.
it?
I think
I
so.
don't know. Maybe this one was like deaf. I'm not sure because I was right close to it. Like I expected the rattle. But anyway, it was like I totally manifested this.
Yes, you did, because
I
you had
was
zero resistance. You had zero fear.
totally,
And you were like, yeah, I really want to see a rattlesnake. And
yeah,
poof. And if it works for a rattlesnake, it will work for anything.
anything.
We just have to clear out that resistance.
Yes. And this was the thing. I like, just like you said, right? I had total faith that I could.
Mhm.
Seemed logical to me. They'd saw one on the highway. And like they kept saying to me, well, we've never seen one in person. And we're not, we're not in the middle of a field. Like we've never, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna see one.
And you did.
And I did. I had zero resistance. I believed that it was possible. I held the faith and I was totally in the vibe of rattlesnake.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
we saw one. And then my friend was like, she's saying, okay, we better go back. We better go back. And I'm thinking, what kind of like, I wonder what's up ahead. But anyway, okay. So we walk back, and all of a sudden, she's like, did you hear that shake? Did you hear that rattle? I'm like, no, I was talking too loud because I was so excited. And we started hearing the rattles in the
Oh.
bushes. I know.
Mhm. And there was no fear in you at all?
No.
Wow.
Like I mean, because I kind of thought,
I
well,
mean, and
I
I
could get to
ask
the
this
hospital.
because we had a whole podcast episode, wasn't really the whole, but it was at least the beginning, where we talked about your fear of birds.
Oh yeah, I don't like birds.
And I would think a rattlesnake would be like birds are here, rattlesnakes here.
I well, to logical people, yes. But I'm like, I feel birds are like more unpredictable. Like I'm worried they're gonna fly in my hair
Kitty
and
lice.
fly and swoop at me.
Mm,
Whereas a rattlesnake, I feel I don't know how fast they are.
mhm.
And maybe if they were fast, or if I saw it jump at something, I would be a little worried. I
Okay.
think, like it's the fast. It's how fast they are, I
Mhm.
feel like. But yes, this is true. Terrified of birds, like totally enamored by rattlesnakes.
Okay.
And I jump at frogs.
Right.
and these grasshopper-like things,
Yes, but
not
snakes, rattlesnakes, no problem.
snakes. No, let's get closer. Can I pet it?
Yes.
Like, I don't
Can I
know.
take you home?
Can I Yeah, I know. It was so and I wanted a picture of the rattle
So
itself.
you got one on your Canon.
I do.
Okay, good. You're gonna have to post that and tell that story.
I will. But
So
it was yes, so much.
I got an email
You
this
did?
morning, first thing when I wake up, and it
Mhm.
was from you.
It was from
Check
me?
out my new podcast. What the
I
fuck did
know.
she just say? Is that what it's called?
Yes, what the fuck did she just say?
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this on the way home today.
Oh!
And so I'm on my way home going, there's my girl listening. And I'm not a football fan.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not. But I love it how football for you is kind of the same as playing pool for me.
Yes.
Like you can look at things and anyone can look at anything they do in life and tie
Mhm.
it to other the ways just maybe the
Right.
ways that they live in business and
Yeah.
and relationships and all these things. But you lost me when you're like, if you're not good at something, don't worry about it. You don't have to be good at it. Just keep
Yeah.
on moving. And then
Yeah.
internally, I'm like, but no, I've got to get better at this. And I've got to get better at this.
Mhm.
And, kind of fighting with you a little bit.
Yeah.
And I keep listening to you. And then you nailed it when you're like talking about how we can't be a master of everything. And if
Right.
we try to be a master of everything, we will be a master of nothing. And I
Yeah.
was like, there it is.
Yeah.
She just freaking nailed it.
Yeah. Well, and this is so much the thing for me. It's like we this would be like me trying to say, okay, you're good at pool and you love pool. And pool is the thing that like gives you all of these insights and everything.
Mhm.
Fuck that. Now you're going to play basketball.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, wait, you suck at basketball? You don't really get it at basketball?
Figure it out.
No, you know what? Go and do it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in like you really suck as a human because you're not good at basketball, right?
Yep.
This is what we do to ourselves
Yeah.
all
All the
the
time.
freaking time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's I love that. I love that you got it. But you know what's also interesting? I love that you argued with me internally.
Yeah.
Because that's how we shift our perspective when
Yes.
we think, "Do I really believe that or do I
Uh-huh.
not?"
Yeah. Well, and
I
we need to argue with people, even that we agree with. When something comes up that we're like, that does not resonate for me.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that.
yeah,
No, we don't have to
yeah,
fight about it. And you were wrong and
exactly.
I am right. And this is the only, it's just about perspective. And then looking at your life in that way and going, I can't master everything.
Right.
When I'm over here trying to do something I don't need to do,
Mhm.
I'm not living my greatness. I'm not living my magic. I'm not focusing on creating what I want. I'm just trying to limp by doing something
Exactly,
else. Yeah.
exactly. And
Splits your energy.
I really heard this when I was like, when I first left university and, I was working for a private school for learning disabled children and adults, and we would do the diagnosis. I didn't, but my boss who had her PhD in education did. And so she was a diagnostician and she would diagnose these learning disabilities and she would say, it's interesting to know where your weaknesses are, but we're not going to try to improve on them. We're going to know where your strengths are and we're
Mhm.
going to work with those.
Well, and
Like,
it's having people in place on your team with you
mhm. Yeah,
that their strength is your weakness. So that
right.
you can just say, I need this and this and this done. Can you
Exactly.
cover this for me? And I'm going to
Mhm.
focus over here where I make magic.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I find too is that, I often like I when I very first one of my very first coaches, or I guess she would be my second business coach. She was really good at all the technical stuff,
Mhm.
right? And I thought that I needed that in order to be successful.
Ah,
And what happened was the more I tried to get better the more I tried to fix my weaknesses, or the more I tried to get stronger in my weak areas, the more weak I became in my strong areas,
Mhm.
because I wasn't focusing on my zone of brilliance. I
Right.
wasn't doing what I'm naturally good at. I wasn't in my magic zone.
Mhm.
And so I felt like I sucked at everything.
Yeah.
We're always going to focus on the things that, the one negative comment that we get,
Mhm.
more so than the 300 positive ones we get.
Mhm.
And so,
Until we don't.
until we don't, but we need to flip that,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
for me, it was like focusing on the strengths, knowing my weaknesses, and then going around them, creating a business that had nothing to do with them, or hiring that out, or, like just really seeing my own zone
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
brilliance and going all in on that. And I think it's so freeing when we do, when it just opens up our eyes, going, oh, wait, I can be successful even though I suck in this area.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Well, it is
oh,
interesting because anytime we start anything new, typically we suck a little bit in the beginning. Like we have to learn it. Sometimes we have that drive
yeah,
but even when I started playing pool, I was awful. I had no
yeah,
desire to play pool. I had no history with pool. It was like something we would play when we would go down to 6th Street,
yeah.
once every 6 years. So it wasn't, but Paul loved pool.
Hmm.
And he's like, baby, can I turn our formal dining room into a pool room? And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
I knew he would love it. And then he wanted to play. So I started playing with him. And
Hmm.
I was not very good. And it was not my desire to be this great pool player.
Hmm.
But through our playing and our conversations and the way we get into these talks while
Yeah.
we're playing, it made me look at how I was playing and then look at the way I was living life.
Yes.
And so it doesn't have to be something you really care about to
Well,
teach you a great now I love it because it
yeah.
represents those memories and those moments of wow moments with him.
Yes.
So I'm
Well,
super
and
grateful.
I love sports and how it relates to life. So it
Mhm.
doesn't really matter what sport it is,
Yeah,
or I love everything and how it relates to life. I mean,
yeah.
really, but it doesn't really matter what sport it is. It's usually the sports, but I didn't know football at all. And I really like I start that podcast going, okay, I'm going to talk about football, which is kind of a joke because I even still like he was so when I talked about that podcast, I said he's a halfback, right? And then I go down to this game in Medicine Hat, and his university team is like, okay, now Cole, you're going to be a linebacker. I'm like, whoa, I
That's
don't know the
not
linebacker position. And so I said to him, hey, you were playing linebacker a couple of the times. Hey, like a lot of the game. Sometimes at the beginning you were halfback, and he goes, no, mom, I was a linebacker the whole time. I'm like, shit. Missed
oops.
that. I missed it. But I mean, he's still defense and he still tackles.
Right.
So like I got it. And it's a
Yeah.
pretty cool position. But yeah, like I am not, I'm a good cheerer.
Mhm.
I'm a good, and I love like to understand the games more so, and how they relate, and how they relate to life to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
If we
yeah,
all will look at little things that we do every day or we experience, it all ties back.
it
Every
so
and
does.
there's messages in there for us.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. There's messages, there's meaning in
Mhm.
absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And it's just my every single day. And I mean, I work from home. One would think I would have less messages, but like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
It's like there's meaning in absolutely everything.
Right.
And that's what I think is the most amazing part of life.
And that is a good stopping point, my dear, because we are out of time.
We are. Oh my gosh, this was
Fast,
so much fun.
fast 30 minutes.
It is.
Oh, well, thank you, Sandra. I enjoyed this so much.
Me
And
too.
thank you guys for joining us for the happy half hour. We'll see you next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.